I always thought that I'd be a mom someday. I think I'm ready.
Great. Now you're ready, and by the time the kid's 16, I'm gonna be one of those old dads like Brian Henderson's dad.
You're not that old.
Here's an idea. What if we adopt a 5-year-old? Be like I got cracking when I was 36. How about that?
Pete and Ellie are the main characters. They're the adoptive parents. And what I love about them as characters is much like my wife and I were in our own experience, they kind of stumble into this world of foster care and adoption.
Sean Anders was brave enough to bring 3 children into his home, children that were in foster care. I think, being a father of 4, I absolutely fell in love with the idea.
This was Sean's story. It is a semi-autobiographical film, and to be honest, I don't know if I would have done it if it hadn't been, because it gives it an authenticity and a sensitivity that you wouldn't have otherwise.
It is inspired by my wife and I coming to a very similar decision to adopt kids from the foster care system.
I was just thinking about what you said about adopting a 5-year-old.
I said that?
Yeah.
I was joking.
It's kind of crazy, but it just got me thinking, and there's so many kids in foster care, and they're moving from place to place, and they don't have anybody.
As she starts to realize that there are so many children in the foster care system who desperately need homes.
I won't make any more jokes like that. All right?
It sort of starts as a joke, which is very parallel to Sean Anders' own life, that they start to discuss, well, what if we adopted kids or we fostered children? And it's the story of that and what happens in meeting these children and the journey that they go on.
You're not even pumped?
No, I am pumped.
Let me get a yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
No, boo. Give me one. Yeehaw! Come on. You're about to be a mom.
They come in fairly naive to how all of this works, but they also come in naive to all the great benefits that they're going to get out of it. They're the ones that are kind of stumbling through this whole adventure, but they're also the ones that are going to kind of learn how to fall in love with their new kids.
Hey, kids, dinner!
What? That sounds insane coming out of your mouth. Do we have kids?
Yeah, 3 of them.
I love you.
It starts out pretty good, and then, it becomes difficult to the point where we're thinking about, well, maybe we got in too far and over our heads. It really becomes this kind of roller coaster of a ride.
I mean, Pete and Ellie, they navigate through everything. I mean, they have a honeymoon period, which is very common that people go through, and then everything gets really hard and really complicated and really challenging.
Unlock the window! Thanks for making me late. It's not my fault. You're an asshole.
If you took anybody of any age and sort of pulled them out of their environment and stuck them into a completely new environment, there's some hardship that comes with that, and there is some trauma and a lot of difficulty. And so when kids have to go through that, they understandably have a pushback to it, and they have a lot of trust issues and things that are going to cause certain behaviors and certain bad behaviors. So Pete and Ellie in the movie have to deal with all kinds of behaviors.
Hello,
What is that?
you're wearing that? Are you going to a strip club?
Watching them deal with, okay, our lives have changed, and watching them navigate that in a real way is hysterically funny and also heartbreaking at moments. But you're with them. You're with them from the moment they walk into the room.
What I loved about Ellie was her vulnerability and her strength at the same time, but also her willingness to be really scared about the situation, to really go through the ups and downs of hating the kids, loving the kids, thinking they'd made a mistake.
And then we kind of realized, that we need them and they need us. So thinking, we've gotten in too far over our heads, we're not built for this, we're not made for this, to saying, no, we're going to do everything we can to fight for these kids and, be there for them and be a family.